Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, then hi, my name is Lauren. And on my channel, we mostly talk about anything luxury, but we also discuss lifestyle and beauty. So if you're interested in any of these topics, please consider subscribing to my channel and we'll get started with the video. So in today's video, I'm going to be presenting you how to care for your designer bags. I'm going to be showing you cleaning products, tips and tricks on how to store them, and basically how to ensure that they last for the longest amount of time possible. So if you're curious to see what I would recommend, then please keep on watching. So I wanted to do this video because I've seen and heard of a lot of people that buy these very expensive designer bags, yet never really take care of them. And that's not something that I can, understand. I feel like my bags are my babies. I want to baby them. I want to take care of them. And basically, since I've had to drop like an insane amount of money on them, especially for the Chanel ones, I want to make sure that they're here to stay. I want to make sure that they are staying with me long term and that their wear and tear is really minimal. So for that, it's really important that you learn how to take care of your bags. That being said, this video is going to be realistic, so that means I'm not going to tell you to clean your bags every day. In an ideal world, yes, you should definitely clean your bags every day after each use of the bag, but we all have a life. I don't do that, and if you have the time, great, but I don't feel like it's a requirement or it's mandatory either to make sure that the bags stay with you long term and that they have minimal wear and tear. So without further ado, let's get started with my tip number one. Alright, so the first tip, and definitely the most obvious one, but it's step one, is going to be to clean your bags. So here, I'm not going to recommend that you do that every day because like we've said, it's not going to be realistic. Instead, I would say after about a month, unless you have taken your bag absolutely every day, but I would say about a month. So that for me, since I rotate my bags quite a bit, means probably like 5 or 6 or 7 times of wearing the bag. That would be a good time to start cleaning your bag, maybe on a weekend, on a rainy weekend. So the first thing that I would recommend would be to clean your bag with a clean cloth like this. Not very classy, it's from Flagship Car Wash, but it doesn't really matter. It's very, very soft, so it is going to make sure that it doesn't damage the bag. So right here it has these like probably polyester or something like that fabrics. It's very soft and plush, so it's not going to damage the bag. It's not going to alter it in any way, shape, or form. So I use this part of this cleaning cloth. And then I do two things. So I use leather products to number one, clean and then condition the bag. So I'm going to be showing you some of the products that I use. Again, you don't necessarily have to get these ones. There are like about 1 million products on the market for this. So the ones that I use are the ones that I've been using for this entire time since I've had, my designer bag collection. So those are from Coach, so they're specifically made for handbags. This is the Coach Leather Cleaner. This is the Coach Leather Moisturizer. So I start with the cleaner, I clean it using this cloth once again, and then once I'm done with that, I let the bag breathe for a couple of hours, and then I will moisturize it, of course using a different side or a different part of this cleaning cloth. So those are my go-to products. That being said, it doesn't have to be products that are specifically targeted for handbags. So something that you could also use would be any kind of leather conditioning products. So those, for example, are from Porsche. I got them to clean my leather seats. I had made like a big stain on the driver's seat, especially because I had this like super dark fabric, like dark denim on tan seats, and it was not very good looking. So I got these specifically for that. The stains came off, but you could definitely use it for a handbag. So this is the leather cleaner. We have the leather cleaner right here, and then this is the leather conditioner. So if you don't have the Coach ones, or if you don't want to buy new products and you have this type of thing lying around either for your car or for your sofa or really anything, those will work, so you don't necessarily need to buy new products. So the next thing that you can do to take care of your bags, especially if they're either really expensive or you're really worried about them, and you want to ensure that they stay with you for the longest amount of time possible, is to spray them with a water and stain repellent. I use this one from Cadillac. It's called Shield. It's actually mostly made for shoes, but you can definitely use it on a handbag. So I would use this, for example, if I lived in a very rainy area, and if I were still taking my most expensive bags out in the rain, I would definitely make sure to use this before using the bags. So truth be told, I live in a semi-rainy area, but I actually don't take my bags out when I see that the weather is going to be rainy. So I look at the weather ahead of time and decide on the handbag accordingly. So I don't. But if I were to, if I lived in Seattle and basically it was raining like 300 days out of the year, I would definitely take the bags out. Therefore, I would spray them beforehand a couple of times a year, not before each use, a couple of times a year. With this, this is what I use for my shoes. It's been amazing. With shoes, like, of course, you walk in them. Sometimes you'll like step in a puddle or something, and you don't want your leather to be ruined. You don't want your precious Chanel flats to be ruined. So this is what I use for them. Works like a charm. So I would recommend using it on a bag as well, especially if you're prone to taking out your bags in the rain. Next up, we have, if worst comes to worst, you have made a stain on your bag, or there is a stain on your bag because of something that happened. Either you spilled some sort of liquid on it, or you set it down in, I don't know, dust, or in, an unclean area, and horror of the horror, there is a stain on your bag. Fear not. There are several ways that you can get them off, but what I would recommend is actually using these guys. So these are winter wipes. So I actually got them from Browns. Browns is like a very famous brand for shoes in Canada. And so they're specifically made for the winter time when you step in like a bunch of salt and a bunch of like slush and melted snow, and you ruin your suede, precious, beautiful boots. This is the perfect way to get these stains off. Works like a charm on the boots. And you could use them on flats, but who would wear flats in the wintertime in Canada? That would be silly. But so it works like a charm on shoes. And so one time I had a stain on one of my purses, and I was a little bit desperate. I think I was scared that the stain would not come off. I tried with the leather cleaning from Coach. I tried with the one from Porsche. Nothing really, came off. But then I remembered that I had this, and I was like, oh wow, works like a charm on the boots. So I'm gonna try. So I tried on a very small surface. I would recommend trying on a small surface first, not on like the entire stain. So I took like a Q-tip, it was like this much, that I infused with this solution, and then I started cleaning, and the stain like came right off. So this is an amazing recommendation if you're looking to remove your stains, even stains that have been there for a long time. This will still work. I will tell you, I am horrible with the care of my winter boots. So I come back from my trip, and then they stay at home for like 3-4 months, and then once it's time to bring them back again, I'm like, oh, they're dirty, I need to clean them. And then I get this thing out, and with like one wipe, they're instantly clean. So highly recommend if you're looking to get rid of stains. And the last tip that I can give you to clean your bags and remove any sort of either stain or damage, if your bag, like this one, is denim and not leather. So obviously to clean leather, it's much easier. You have a much wider range of choices than for denim. So for denim, this bag is one of my favorites. I wear it quite a bit, but it's not a stain. It's just the corners right here tend to fade. So instead of being black, they're starting to be dark gray, and then, they're now leaning more towards light gray. And I took my bag back to my SA in the boutique, and I asked her, like, is there anything that either I can do or you can do to prevent this, to make it better? She said no, but she said, here's an idea. If I were you, I would use a Sharpie on your bag. So I looked at her like she was a crazy person. I was like, excuse me, you want me to use a Sharpie on my very precious baby? This seems ridiculous. But She was actually right. So I used this Sharpie. It's not a fine point Sharpie, it's like a regular Sharpie. So here, up, Sharpie. And then if you're looking at the edges, so right here it's slightly more gray than black, up. It's very slight, but it works like a charm. Obviously you have to let it dry, that's the main thing, but I mean, you know, with anything, with any kind of like use of Sharpie, you have to let it dry. But it works like a charm, especially in preventing this damage around the corners. Now, this only works because the bag is black, so I would recommend really to only buy denim bags that are black. If you buy a denim bag that is, I don't know, pink or blue, finding a Sharpie that works for it might be a little more tough. But if it's black, I got you. This is perfect. And go right ahead. I would say fear not. My SA told me to do it. I've been doing it ever since, you know, I took this back to the boutique, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago, and it's been amazing. The bag hasn't aged since then. The next thing that we're going to talk about is how to store your handbags at home. The first thing that I would recommend, even before you set them down on your shelf or wherever you're storing them, is to stuff them. So for that you have 3 choices. The first choice is going to be like this one, stuffing the bag with plastic or paper. Usually it comes with a bag. This is what the bag came with. But if you don't have that, basically any kind of like wrap that you can find, you know, when you buy some new clothes or when you buy something new for your house, usually this is the kind of wrapping paper that this comes with. Works like a charm. The next solution, the next choice would be to use a bag organizer. So for this one, for the Goyard Saint Louis tote bag, I have a bag organizer inside because since it's a tote bag, I feel like otherwise I wouldn't be able to find anything inside of my purse. This makes it such that I have some compartments. It also protects the inside of the bag. So it does all that, plus makes it a great storage solution. So with this, the bag gains a lot in structure, which means that you don't need to use the plastic wrap or the like paper wraps that I showed you in the Chanel bag earlier. This is sufficient, and so it does the job both of organization and storage at the same time. And lastly, or last choice, would be to use what's called a bag pillow, which I have for this little baby over here. So it looks like this. It's very, very soft and plush. It's made of like a satin-like material. This one is from Oposhi. It's a brand that I collaborated with a long time ago with this, and I was very satisfied. I would recommend them. Truth be told, I wouldn't go ahead and go out of my way to purchase one of these because I simply feel like it's not worth the money, and this can be accomplished with the wrapping papers or with a bag organizer. But if you have spare money, if you have additional money to spend, then yes, obviously it's neater and nicer than, you know, the wrapping papers. It looks a little bit more nice, sure, but you know, I don't remember what the price was, but it's something like either $30 or $50. Is it necessary? No. Is it a nice little luxury that's added? Yes. The next thing that I'm going to tell you in terms of storing your bag away after you've made sure that it's nicely stuffed is to tuck away any kind of accessories that the bag has. So for example, for this Yves Saint Laurent Sac de Jour in size nano, it comes with this, which has a lock inside, so ultimately is very heavy, has metal inside, so could damage the bag, especially if this rolls around. While it looks nice when you're wearing the bag, it's just simply not needed to have that out when the bag is resting. So it's important to tuck that inside. So up goes inside of the bag, and then for the handles of the bag, this would be probably the worst that you could do. You could either make sure that they're completely removed from the handbag, so in this way, or you could tuck them inside of the bag if you have room, depending on what kind of either bag organizer you have, or pillow, bag pillow, or wrapping paper. So either one solution would work, but definitely this is important to tuck away because otherwise long term this could definitely damage the bag. The next thing that I would mention, and definitely the most important when it comes to storing away your bags, is to store them away in their dust bag, never in their original packaging. If you leave them in the box, in their original packaging, what will happen over time is the color will fade out. So this is not something that you're going to notice over the course of like 3-4 months, but over 4 or 5 years, this is what's going to happen. So yes, if you go through your bags really quickly and they only stay in your collection for like a year, sure, no problem. I don't see why not. But if you intend on keeping your bag, definitely a no-no. See how this is a classic flap bag, a medium classic flap. The chain right here is on the exterior of the dust bag so that it's protected from the bag, because obviously this is once again metal, so you don't want it to rest on the leather of the handbag. And then the next thing that I would add is, of course, it is tempting to have your bags out on display like this. It looks gorgeous, the bags are beautiful, brings you joy every time you walk by. Sure, I 100% get you, but then there's a but. If you want to do that, it's very important that you have minimal sunlight in your room. So for me, this is what I do in this room. I have the blinds down at all times aside from when I'm filming. So when I'm not filming, this room is left with the blinds all the way down, so it's pitch dark in here. Otherwise, with the sun exposure, your bags could also ultimately fade out. So either you have the blinds up and you store them away in their dust bags, or you have the blinds down at all times and they're fine to stay on their own without a dust bag. And the last thing that I can tell you is to rotate your bags. So don't just use the same bag every single day. Otherwise, what will happen to this bag is a lot of damage. This is why, you know, every bag kind of needs to rest, needs to breathe for a couple of days after using it. Doesn't mean that you can't, you know, use the same bag for like 1 week on at a time. If you're going on a trip, sure, I understand you're not going to take your entire designer bag collection. That makes sense. But when you're at home, it's important to rotate between your bags. This also gives you additional time to clean them and for them additional time to rest. Overall, it's an amazing excuse to keep buying more bags. So I would also really recommend rotating your bags for that reason. And lastly, the do's and don'ts of manipulating your bag, of having your bag in your hands. One of my friends who just started her designer journey asked me if these little guys were necessary, if it was necessary to have gloves to manipulate your bag. So I said no. My answer was no to that. However, really make sure that your hands are clean. Of course, if you have dirty hands, this will transfer onto your bags. We don't want that. What we also don't want is for you to have your rings when you touch the bag. So obviously, especially if you have rings like this one, like the Justin Clou from Cartier, it's really easy to get that caught in any kind of, you know, maybe a strap or even on the bag itself, and it's very pointy and sharp. Same thing if you are lucky enough to have a big rock on your fingers. We wouldn't want that to get, you know, anywhere near your bag. So really make sure that you remove all your jewelry before you touch your babies. And by the way, for those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for a long time, I'm sure that you must be wondering, oh, what's this new ring? So no, I did not get engaged like last night. I'm still in the process of dating, so this is another, I don't know, a couple of light years away. But this is a ring that a brand called She Said Yes very kindly sent me. They are an awesome brand to work with. They were very professional, very sweet. So this beautiful baby over here is a moissanite ring. It's a 2-carat moissanite ring. Features this beautiful pear cut. Very modern, very contemporary, very sleek looking. I love it. And it also features 10K white gold. So this is the customization that I asked because I feel like white gold, you know, suits me best, but they have plenty of different customizations. They have different types of gold. They have yellow gold, they have rose gold. They also have different types of carats. So they have 10, 14, 18, etc., etc. So basically, depending on the price that you're willing to give, they have different options. They also have engraving services available. They have personalization services available. They also have very cute packaging. Here is what the packaging of the ring looks like. Very, very nice. I would highly recommend them instead of dropping, you know, an insane amount of money on a ring, especially if it's to try it out or try out the style. This would be an amazing idea. I think that, you know, an engagement ring is a purchase for a lifetime, and I don't know why, I tend to get really nervous about that. And so kind of like, you know, what I do with my bags, I think it's a great idea to try it out first, to try out if you like the style, if you like the shape, if you like, you know, the size of it. So for me, throughout, you know, getting these types of items, I have found out that 2 carats is really the perfect size for me. Anything below that, it feels like it's almost not apparent on my fingers, because I'm super tall. I'm 5'11" or 180 centimeters. So what looks good on other people, I have learned the hard way, it doesn't necessarily look good on me. So a ring that's going to be like maybe 1.25 carat is going to look really nice on a girl who is 5'2", because she has teeny tiny little cute fingers. But I don't have that, so for me, I think 2 carat looks nice. I love the white gold. It pairs really nicely with all of the rest of my jewelry. So my everyday set of jewelry is white gold. I think that with my complexion, it's definitely what looks best. So by the way, if you are interested in checking them out, or basically, you know, anything else from this brand other than the ring, they also make other types of jewelry, such as, you know, necklaces and earrings and bracelets and stuff like that, then all of the relevant information will be in the description box of the video down below for you, along with a coupon code. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video was beneficial and informational for you, especially if you are starting out your designer journey. I hope that it definitely encouraged you to take care of your bags. So if you did like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one.